Hey family, what's good? This is your girl. I am the Bronze Goddess, and I'm actually here today to do another strawberry letter. But before I get into today's video, I want to remind you guys to check out my brand new book. When I say brand new, this book was released on Saturday, August 13th, and that is Breaking the Man Code, The Key to Unlocking His Heart. You can purchase this book on Amazon, and you can also now download it in Kindle. For all of you who already purchased the book, I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate you guys supporting me and helping the movement to grow and reach more people. So thank you guys so much for all of your support thus far. I'll be sure to link my book below. Anyway, without any further ado, let's get started with today's video. Let's go get 'em. My fiance and I recently broke up after being together almost 5 years. We dated for 2 years and were engaged for 3. We recently had a huge fight and I asked him to leave, which after many attempts on my part at taking a break, he finally packed a few things and left. When I say after many attempts at taking a break on my part, I mean I tried several times to get him to move out due to the fact that I think our relationship had become totally codependent. I was married before and have 2 children from my previous marriage. Even before my ex and I were divorced, I have always been very ambitious and worked very hard at achieving my goals. I landed my first 6-figure job at 26 years old and was ultimately the reason for my divorce. My ex-husband didn't have a problem with the fact that I owned my own business and was very successful as long as he was the primary breadwinner. The moment that changed, I started making more money than him. Our relationship fell apart. 2 years later, I met my fiance and he was everything that I wanted in a man. He was kind, gentle, loving, smart, funny, and most importantly, he was God-fearing. Whoop, whoop. Anyway, he worked at one of the most prestigious law firms in DC, and the cherry on top was he wasn't threatened by my success. We fell madly in love, and after dating for a year, he asked me to marry him the first time. Because I had gone through a very nasty divorce, I turned him down. BG, I was scared to death, and I didn't want to put myself in that situation again. He said he understood that, but he refused to lose me, so he agreed that we would move in together. Big mistake, I know. At first, everything was going perfect. We shared the bills and responsibilities like cooking and cleaning. And because of the nature of my job, I ended up moving to Pennsylvania and he decided to come with me. It was difficult for him to find work, but he was still very amazing. I worked very long hours and he took full responsibility at home. He did all the cooking, the cleaning. He made sure my children got to school on time. He made sure he picked them up in the afternoons when they got off the bus. He helped them with their homework. I mean, it was like he was sent from heaven. After a while, things started to decline. He finally got a job, but things weren't the same as how they were in DC. He was fine and all, but I guess it bothered him. I'm gonna get her for that later, but I'm gonna have to summarize from here because I really want to get the writer. The writer also says due to the nature of her new prestigious job, she works 12 and 14-hour days, and because of that, sometimes her husband goes out and spends time with his friends and things like that because she's really not around that much. The writer of the letter goes on to say that she got another huge job offer down in Florida that she wanted to take, and she let the man know, look, I know that I have to move again. If you don't want to come, that's perfectly fine, but I got this huge opportunity down in Florida. So again, this man moved down to Florida with her. Now, he had a really hard time finding a job down in Florida this time, and he actually without work for 2 years. Now, after being in Florida for a while, the writer starts to say that he went on a huge decline. He wasn't taking care of the home. He stopped cooking and cleaning and doing all these things around the house. She says he has a passion for animals and that her house turned into a zoo.
This brother brought in cats, dogs, rabbits, snakes, squirrels, like whatever it is.
He was bringing all these animals in. He wasn't taking care of the animals, wasn't taking care of the kids, the house, anything. After 5 years, he stopped doing all these things. So the writer of the letter finally got tired of all of this and she asked him to leave, and this time he finally did. And she says the title of her letter was, Is It Worth It to Raise a Man? Girl, you are really something else. Now, I know what you want me to say, but I'm going to tell you the truth. The person who actually needs to be growing up in this particular situation is you. I don't know, to me, it sounds to me after reading your letter that you are more interested in having a nanny, having a maid, or maybe having a personal chef, that you are really interested in having a man. Of course you can't marry him. You can't marry this man because you're married to your job. You're married to your work. You said in the beginning of this letter that he left his prestigious job in DC to follow you to Pennsylvania, and he was doing everything that you asked him to do. Cooking and cleaning for you, waiting on you hand and foot. This man is taking care of somebody else's children. Your children. While you are off at work, he's taking care of making sure your kids are off to school on time, making sure he helps them with their homework, all of these things to show that he loves you. And then when you got another job offer down in Florida, this man picked up again after he had all this hard time finding a job in Pennsylvania. knew that he had to go through all that again, did it again for you. I see all throughout this letter what he has done to show you that he loves you, but I haven't seen one time what you have done to show him that you love him. He left his prestigious job in DC to follow you all over. He was happy being in your shadows, happy cooking and cleaning for you. Do you know what that is really asking a man? Do you want a husband or do you want a wife? Because it sounds to me like as long as he was cooking and cleaning and taking care of your children while you worked 12 and 14-hour days, everything was fine. Then you have the nerve to get mad because the man wants to go out, hang out with his friends. You're not hanging out with him. How can you hang out with him when you're working 12 and 14-hour days? Because what amazes me about your letter is this huge role reversal right here. You expect a hot cooked meal when you get home. You expect your lawyer husband to come home after working the same amount of hours as you, most likely, to have your kids fed and bathed and all these things. Like, do you even want a relationship? I think that you need to be honest with yourself about exactly what it is that you want, because to me it doesn't sound like you want a man. You're so focused on your career and your job and you're perfect there, but you're failing here. Life is about balance. I'm not telling you what I think, I'm telling you what I know. You let this man show you how much he loved you and put himself on the back burner for 5 years. And he still wasn't going to leave. You actually had the nerve to kick him out. How have you shown him that you love him? That's what I want to know. I'm sure the people at the job know you're committed to your job. They know that you're there. But how much time are you spending with your children? Your children. Not worrying about if they're fed and if somebody's helping with their homework. I feel like you would do better if you go ahead and hire a maid to keep your house clean, hire a personal chef to make sure that your meals are nice and hot when you come home, and you also hire a nanny to help take care of your kids. Because that's what you sound like you really need. None of this letter was about how he treats you. None of this letter was about you thinking he cheated on you, or you thinking that he doesn't appreciate you, or he doesn't know your worth. All of the letter has been about is you putting him on the back burner, and now you're mad that he's getting tired of it. He's not being perfect for you. He's not cooking and cleaning for you and not being a good little wife for you anymore. You know how many women are on their knees right now begging God for the kind of man that you're trying to throw away? Okay, you let him go if you want to. And I bet you this brother right here, this God-fearing, cooking, cleaning, love other people's children like their very own kind of lawyer, sexy, fine man that you probably have here, will not be single for long. Because if I even ask in the comment section right now, how many of you ladies, how many of you single ladies want a man like this? You know what they'll be telling me?
Shorty, swing my way. He sure sounds good to me. So won't you please swing my way?
A lot of women would want him. I believe this is the reason why your first marriage failed. This is the reason why your second marriage failed. And any relationship that you get in is going to fail until you learn to prioritize, until you learn some balance. A man can love you, but why can't you show him that you love him too? It's not all about you some pampered princess and everybody's supposed to be waiting at your feet. How are you showing this man that you love him? All he's ever done was sacrifice. He had a prestigious job in DC, yet he's trailing all around here for you. Raising other people's children, cooking and cleaning for you, while you, not even his wife, working 12 and 14-hour days. How much quality time are you even giving him? Honestly, I'm astounded by the fact that you had the nerve to title your letter, Is it worth it to raise a man? He is raised. Somebody actually raised this brother right. There's nothing wrong with having ambition and drive, determination for you to go after your goals and your dreams. But if you're in a relationship, you also have to put some time and energy into that too. Like, how did you expect a relationship with him to grow when you're not feeding it? The only area that you're giving any attention to is your work. It sounds like even your children are suffering as a result of your hard work. Life is about balance. We all have what I call a life pie. And it depends on where you are and what your life is about, how big a slice you give certain things. I feel like the entire pie is about your work. And you expect everybody else, every other relationship to suffer as a result of that. 12 and 14 hours, you have this man putting your kids on the school bus and helping them with their homework and cooking and cleaning. What are you doing besides your work? There are things that are more important than money. Things more important than a job, than status, than six figures. There are certain things, you aren't nurturing the things that really matter. You're all about the materialistic things. Those things are not going to keep you warm when you're 80 years old. Your kids, when they're young right now, you'll never get this time back. You either spend time with them now, and then when they're older and they don't want to talk to you, then you're going to feel the result of all these years of neglect. You have to stop and prioritize. I'm not saying this video to be mean to you, to be condescending or to hurt your feelings. I'm saying this as a wake-up call to you. You are putting your time and your energy on the wrong thing. The people who you love the most are getting none of your time and none of your energy. This is a good man you have here, and you could possibly lose him. And your children are so young and they're never spending any time with you. Is a career worth that much? Are you willing to give up all the good relationships in your life for a career? See if that career keeps you warm when you're 80 years old. At the end of your life, when you've gotten all the success that this life can give you, there are millionaires who kill themselves, celebrities who jump off of buildings because the money wasn't enough. Life is about relationships. Your priorities are all wrong. You talk about him. Is it worth it to raise a man? But it's you, the one who needs to be growing up. But anyway, if you want to hear more of my no-nonsense advice, be sure to check out my new book, Breaking the Man Code, The Key to Unlocking His Heart. I'll be sure to link my book in the description box below so you guys can check it out. I love you guys, and I'll see you all in the next video. Till next time, later divas and dudes. Deuces, honey.